How good are you at speaking female?
So what's the best thing about having a black wife?
Okay, keep playing. Keep playing and see what happens.
Yo, y'all age like vampires.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. This is part 3. I honestly didn't realize there was going to be a part 3, but we just kind of got to talking and we felt like this little part just kind of flowed with the other 2 parts. So if you haven't seen part 1 and 2, make sure you do that and then come on back over to this video.
So, yeah, I wanted to ask you about, and we've talked about this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What are either some tips, some things to look out for, and I guess I'm thinking specifically about black women dating white guys. What are some red flags, things maybe you would look for? And in part, at the end of the day, in your estimation, why does this work?
So for me, like I've talked about this, those of you that like follow us on TikTok, I've talked about this before in lives that we do, that I made a list of things that I wanted in a guy before I met Rob. And one of the things that I had on my list was that if it was a white guy, I wanted him to know about Black culture and Black issues. That was important to me. I didn't want to date a guy who had never dated a Black woman before. And so just to sum it up, I didn't want to get into a situation where I was going to be in a relationship and the guy would be like, why you got to always make it about race? Right? I didn't want to have that issue, because as being a Black female in America
and in Texas,
there are going to be times where I'm going to want to talk about race, because specific things that are going to happen to me because I'm Black. So I didn't want to have to come home and have my husband be like, that was not because you was Black. Why you got to make everything about race? I didn't want to get into that situation. So just a little funny thing to put in here. So me and someone close to me, we were talking about our significant others, and she's dating a white guy. And when she went to bed at night and she, wrapped her hair up, and, women, like my women of color out there, we wrap our hair at night, and he asked her, why she wore that. And I interjected and said, Rob asked me why I didn't wear one. So it was so that is just little things. I didn't want to have to explain to my significant other. So for me, that was very important to me, that they were definitely aware of, Black culture and Black issues. And it wasn't like I had to take them through a course, so to speak. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, for me, that was very important. And I actually had that on my list of things that, meeting a guy.
Did I pass your test?
You passed my test 8 times, 10, 100,000 times over.
Well, good. It's nice to pass the test.
I mean, God was seriously, God, if you guys, and this is funny, this will be funny if you've ever seen any of, Rob's TikToks or followed him on any kind of social media. I feel like God looked at that and went, okay, shoot, I got somebody for you. Let me hook up with him. Yeah, literally, I feel like he was like, okay, I'm going to give you that 100 times over. And that's a compliment.
Well, thank you. I am a little opinionated. And I think the other thing we want to talk about, which we get on the lives, we get on our videos in general, is our experience being an interracial couple in modern day, Texas, 2020, whatever. And I guess, spoiler alert, it hasn't been very dramatic.
It has not, no. But again, we live in Austin, Texas. So I feel like it's definitely a little more open than a lot of other areas in Texas. So we don't really deal with a lot of that. I mean, now granted, do we get I feel like sometimes we get looks when we go out, But that's because we look like this. Like he's tall. He's a bald-headed, tall guy,
Handsome man.
and he's very handsome. And
Yeah,
also
like,
people stare at us because they think he's Stanley Tucci. Like if you guys don't know, even his TikTok is like, I'm not Stanley Tucci. It's because he looks so much like him. Like I honestly think a lot of times we get stares and stuff because people think he's the actor. Like they really do.
they don't realize he's 5'8" and I'm 6'2".
Yeah, they don't realize that he's short. And it's funny because sometimes people, even on your TikTok, they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I found didn't know Stanley Tucci was on TikTok." Like
Yeah.
so, I feel like and because of the experiences that we've had, like even traveling, like people will come up to us and think that he's like the actor. So I think a lot of that has to do with it, and then also.
Hold on. Also, she's freaking gorgeous. So, like, that's pretty memorable. But I think these two faces and heads, but she's gorgeous. I'm this. And,
Well,
I mean,
thank you for saying
no,
that.
but I mean, don't
I was-
discount that.
I
but
was going to say also because, like, our looks are very
unique.
memorable and they're unique.
Yeah.
So, also, there's not a lot of, like, I don't think there's a lot of black women here and a lot of black women that actually have, like, super short hair like I do.
She's pretty memorable.
You know, that, do full eye makeup and, like, look like they're going to the Oscars when they go out, because I do makeup and stuff. So I feel like that's kind of a head turner, and people like look at that. I honestly don't think a lot of people are staring at us because, oh, look at that interracial couple.
Yeah.
I actually don't think. I think there's like different reasons for it.
But I think, okay, yes.
But that's because
right.
of where we live.
Well, and the age we are, too.
Yeah.
But also, I guess, even fast forward back, rewind, I guess would be the term. Our family and friends, like, it's not an issue. Like, my family loves her. That was never an issue. And I had, dated people of different races before.
Oh, and my family loves him to death. I've told him, I was like, if something ever happened with us and we didn't work out, my family would be like, yeah, so we invited Rob to the reunion. We understand if you don't want to come. Like, literally, that's how they would be.
Yeah,
No joke.
We would miss you at the family function.
Yeah, he says that. And they would miss me at the family functions because they would still invite him. And they would be like, okay, if you're not comfortable coming, that's fine. Like, that's how much they love him.
Her family's amazing.
So our families have been like really cool. Like we literally have not had any issues with our families. Yeah. We definitely have not had any issues with our friends. Yeah. But again, we don't have friends that are jerks. Like our friends our friends aren't friends that are I don't want to just be harsh and say racist, but they aren't.
That would be accurate, though. Yeah, I mean
our
that's
friends are racist.
And we did a TikTok about this. That if your family or friends are giving you crap about the person you love because of that person's skin color, race, ethnicity, whatever, I mean that sucks. And we know that happens for some people. We're just blessed that has been a zero issue for us.
It's literally been a non-issue for us. We haven't had to deal with that.
And credit, and again, your family, again, amazing to me, everybody, like from day one. And at the same time, like, I'll shout out to my mom too. Like, my mom is 85, born and raised in Maine. Mm-hmm. And by some weird stroke of fate, she happens to have one black daughter-in-law, 4 black grandchildren, one trans grandchild.
Yeah.
And doesn't give a shit. She loves.
She's just
everybody.
Like, yeah. So we know that we're definitely blessed in that area. And we don't want to make this video like super long, but I will say that if you are dealing with that, and first of all, let's start with the easy one, friends. So if you have friends that aren't accepting of your interracial relationship, that's an easy cut, right? Bye.
That's not a friend you need.
Right? So in my book, that's not a friend that you need in your life, right? So if you have family that is like that, it is sad and that breaks my heart. But at the same time, sometimes you can have family, but they can like be over here, right? It's not family that you're like you interact with a lot. Does that make sense? So it's not like you can just like say, oh, well, I ain't fool with them no more. I'm not saying that because I definitely don't ever recommend that. But sometimes you need to distance yourself from people who aren't on the same level with you. You know,
for a family, it's harder. You can compartmentalize that family though. Like, all right, I'm going to live my life over here. I'm going to see them at Christmas.
Absolutely.
You know, we'll do what we do.
Yeah.
And every situation is unique.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the main thing is, in kind of summing it up, I think the main thing is hopefully you and your spouse or your partner or whoever you're with, you know, man, woman, whatever, because love is love. Hopefully you guys are in sync and you're talking to each other about it. So I think that's one of the main things that is really like important to do is to have that communication with each other, because you're going to be feeling a certain type of way and they may be feeling a certain type of way, but if you guys don't communicate and not on the same page, then that's going to make the journey even harder. So just, you know, communicate with your loved ones and, you know, if people aren't happy for you, that's their issue. That's not yours.
Yeah. Pack it up. And ultimately, that's I guess my last word on the topic.
Mm-hmm.
We all have a right to be happy. It took me a long time to learn that. We have a right to be happy on our own terms.
Yeah. It took me a long time to learn that too.
And so if we can shorten somebody's path to learning that and,
Mm-hmm.
and accepting that as true,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it can get complicated with family and friends, but
Definitely can.
But you, we all have a right to be happy on our own terms.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? As we've seen from this awful 2020 that we've been in, life is short. So, yeah, be happy. Be with the one that you love. And if other people don't like it, forget them.
Yeah.
You know, like live your life and be happy. You actually have a right to be happy and you deserve to be happy. So hopefully you guys got something from this little series. Again, if you please subscribe to us if you haven't subscribed. All of our subscribers, thank you so much. We love you for subscribing. We love you for watching our videos, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, y'all.